According to the bookies, Liverpool will finish in the top 4. Surprise, surprise. Manchester City will join them. Leicester City, meanwhile, 7-1 on to make it to the Champions League next season. Chelsea, 11-4 on. Manchester United, the closest challengers at 3s. Tottenham at 9-2. Ian, we've seen Leicester, of course, a great start to the season. It's their first real blip of the campaign, maybe as expected, losing to Liverpool and City. But obviously that big loss against Southampton, a surprise, especially considering this was a team they beat 9-0. They're going to be okay?
I think they're going to be okay. Yeah, I do think they're going to be okay. But they have gone off the boil a bit. Craig and I saw them against Watford just before Christmas, and they got the job done that night, but they had no sparkle. And I don't think they've had any sparkle for a while. And they were firmly put in their place, well, in a pretty big way, really, by Manchester City and then by Liverpool at home. So I think they have got a problem or two. Notably, they've lost Ndidi to a fairly serious injury. He's going to be out for a while. And he's the guy, I think, that provides a bit of the steal alongside all that flair that they've got in the team. But that's a big lead they've got over 5th place, 11 points. So I do think they'll make the top 4, yeah.
And it's good that the team in 5th place aren't exactly that trustworthy either in Manchester United.
Yeah, and I think there are other runners and riders like Tottenham who are also looking shaky. Wolves are a strong side, have had a little bit of a blip recently, but they're a strong side. I don't think Sheffield United will hang around there, to be honest with you. I think the second half of the season, particularly the way they play, such a high-intensity game. Most of these guys come up through the Championship or the lower leagues. Have done a great job for Chris Wilder. I think they'll continue to have a good season, but it won't be that good. It's whether Man United can get any sort of consistency, which I personally don't think they can. I think Leicester, barring a disaster, are pretty good for the top 4.
Leicester okay, Stevie?
I think so, yeah. You know, the one thing Leicester's got really is they can sort of glide along during the season. You know, your Arsenal, United, Spurs, Chelsea, they're under the spotlight all the time. They're being asked questions all the time. So Leicester, with the lead they have over 5th spot, plus the ability they have, I think they'll be fine.
Was this inevitable? As you mentioned, you lose someone like Ndidi.
Yes, 100%. And I wasn't shocked at the Southampton result, by the way.
Really?
Listen, it becomes a mental thing. You've just annihilated a team by 9 goals, and then you've got to play them again soon. Yeah. It's a completely different mentality.
Did you have that with Crystal Palace?
We did. We beat Crystal Palace 9-0 at Anfield, and about 4 months later, we lost to them in the semi-final of the FA Cup. It's a complete mental battle.
And just explain that a little bit. Like, how does your brain work?
Well, you've got from Southampton's point of view, this lot battered us by 9. Right. We owe them 1. So every one of them is like, they're all keyed up. Whereas Leicester are going, well, we battered them by 9. We'll just play a football and we'll be all right. And so when you start the game like that, it's not quite as easy to turn that around as Leicester found out.
And I know this is not a Southampton chat, but and some the other side of the coin is as well, they were arguably the lowest going into that game and definitely after. Hasenhüttl was on the hot seat big time. He's not now for the time being.
You sure?
Because they've played some really good stuff lately, so it wasn't as big a surprise because the reason Stevie mentioned, but also the fact they've been playing a heck of a lot better.
Everyone's got an opinion on United at the moment. Ian, what's yours?
Well, they blow hot and cold. You never know what Manchester United are going to turn up on the pitch, do you? On the weekend, they go and hit 4 past Norwich. I'll give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer credit for one thing amid the great debate. He's made Marcus Rashford into a very effective goal scorer, which he hasn't been really before now. He's getting a lot of goals now, so something's clicked there with the team. I mean, I think their best hope really of making a charge late in the season into the top 4 is they get this Bruno Fernandes deal done. He does come off and he gets the kind of goals and sets up goals in the way that he did in Portugal. But that's a big if.
Is he Messi? Is he turned into Messi, Bruno Fernandes, from Portugal to England? Because that's one player who you think can make that much of a difference, Ian.
No, I didn't say he could. I said if the deal gets done and if he does come off, and not everybody does come off immediately in England. But from what I've seen of him, he does look a player, to me, who might make a difference.
Do you stick with Ollie, Ian?
Yeah, I think they are going to stick with him, I think. I think they're going to stick with him through to the end of the season now because they kind of like him, and like I said before, it'd be a bit like shooting Bambi, getting rid of him. So I think, for good or bad, they're going to carry on with this and try to bring the young players through and hope that something clicks in the later stages of the season and they can nick into a top 4 place and maybe grab a trophy as well, something like the FA Cup.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.